Hey everyone, George from Elite Motorcars. Today's video is not my normal for sale type of video. This is actually one of my personal cars. It's a 1985 Cadillac Eldorado Commemorative Edition. Wanted to take a second to show you guys this beautiful Eldorado. Absolutely love this car, and I'm very lucky to own it as well. Now, if you guys follow my channel, you guys know I have a passion for 1979 to 1985 Eldorado, especially the 84 and 85 Eldorados. I just absolutely love them. They're just one of the prettiest Eldorados ever built in my eyes. Now, actually, when you look at the backstory of this particular car, I had wanted a nice commemorative edition for a while at this point, and I found this car late one night on Craigslist back in, I think it was February of 2019. And I wanted a nice original car. I wanted a nice interior car, which are very picky on interiors, because you could do an interior over, but they're never as nice as the original. And I was seeing a lot of these cars, a lot of the interiors were beat up, and till I bought this particular car, I actually never owned a commemorative edition Eldorado. And it's kind of crazy to say, because I've been buying and selling this body style of Eldorado since probably 94, 95, 96. And I came across a bunch of commemoratives over the years and just never ended up owning them. And when I found this particular car, I was really excited about this car because it was a Cadillac, not a Cadillac dealer, I almost said dealer, but actually a Cadillac collector in Colorado that was offering the car for sale at the time, and he was just out of space. I gave him a call. Super nice guy, sent me a bunch of photos, some videos, told me all about the car. The car at that time had 42,000 and change on it. Today it has 44,000 miles. Actually, it just clicked 44,000 miles, and I probably put 1,500 miles on it back in 2019, and I probably put 10 miles on it in the last 4 years. So I haven't really used the car, but I wanted to get it out of my warehouse, which I did a couple days ago, because it was dusty, the tires were low. I wanted to charge up the battery, which I will probably have to replace at this point. I just wanted to get the car out, give it a nice coat of wax, wipe the interior down, and clean it up. And it's actually going back in the warehouse later on today. But I also want to take a second to do a video on it, show you guys the car, tell you about the commemorative editions. I know I did my customer's Commodore Blue one back, I think almost a year ago. And I also want to just show everybody this particular car, because this car is just a gorgeous example of an original preserved automobile. Crazy part about this car is, as you'll see, and I'll show you, this car still, which is unheard of, has the original bumper fillers, which are not cracked. And I know that they're not going to last forever, and I know I will have to replace them at one time, but right now it's awesome that it still has the original bumper stickers. Not bumper stickers. The original, I'm laughing over here, the original bumper fillers. But just a gorgeous car. This is where the car, I think this is where the car originally sold from. Rick and Bar, I think they're out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Awesome car. Look at the lines on these cars. This car has all original paint except for one fender was painted, which the gentleman told me, and actually it's this particular fender, which you might be able to see it's a tiny bit off, and I'm not going to touch it. Whoever did it did a beautiful job. I'm going to leave it well enough alone. But other than that, the car is completely original. Even the original bumper fillers in the front are perfect, which you don't see. And as I said, I know I'm going to replace them in the future, but it's very cool to see them today, and it's also very cool to actually document them in the video here as well. Also, guys, if you like Cadillacs or you like just unique stuff in general, I always have more unique stuff coming up. Check me out. Give me a like and subscribe below. Also, check me out on Facebook and Instagram, Elite Motorcars, Peabody, Massachusetts. Now, let me get back into what the commemorative was and how it came about at the time. And I'm not going to get into the commemorative Sevilles or the commemorative Eldorado as much. Basically, we're going to concentrate on what this car was at the time. So basically, Cadillac knew that this body style was coming to an end, production was coming to an end, and they basically wanted to commemorate it. So they called it the Commemorative Edition. It was a special order car. Most of them were built in the spring of 1985, if I'm correct. I'm pretty sure spring of 1985. And it's kind of like the spring edition Coupe de Villes that came out later on in 87, 88. Those were built in the spring as well. Another cool car to commemorate the end of that line as well. And then they actually, when the new body style Coupe de Ville came out back in 1989, the newer style one, they actually introduced the spring edition right into that lineup. So a little different how they did that one. But this was basically to commemorate the end of this body style, which was basically Cadillac's best-selling Eldorado body style ever. 84 and 85 were the best two selling years. And I know people love to make fun of the 4100 motor, and people give me a hard time because I say I love them. Yes, they're slow. I understand that. But they're actually not terrible motors. They will never have a lot of power. They will never be fast. But they're quiet. They're good on gas. And if you think about it, actually my buddy Anthony just did a video on an Eldorado convertible he's selling. He mentioned it and he made a good point. And sometimes I don't make that point because I forget these cars are that old. This car is, I think, 38 years old. It's gonna be 40 years old in no time. And he mentioned in his video was this car's 40 years old, almost 40 years old. And the 4100 motor is still running great underneath the hood. And that says a lot because it's a 40-year-old motor that has not been rebuilt or touched. And even the ones that had been rebuilt and done over, most of them were done in the early to mid 80s. So they're still almost 40 years old and still running and driving. So that says a lot about them. And I'm going to give you one very good thing to look for if you're looking at a older Eldorado than 4100. Just warming up. You don't need to race it up. You don't need to go crazy doing all that good stuff. Just take it for a ride, warm it up, open the hood. If it's nice and quiet, it's fine. It's that simple. And I know I mentioned that in a couple of my buyer's guide videos as well. Now the commemorative edition cars are pretty cool. They all came with the gold center caps there. Now that's unique only to the commemorative edition, but you could actually order in 1985, you could order on any Eldorado, but including the commemorative edition, you could order the factory aluminum wire wheel. It was not a hubcap, it was a wire wheel. It was the only wire wheel that you could order for these cars from 1979 to 1985. It's the only time Cadillac offered it. And it's a beautiful wire wheel. It doesn't hold up age-wise as nice as we would like to see them hold up, but it's still a gorgeous, gorgeous wheel. Now another unique fact about the commemorative edition cars, and I didn't know this till a few years ago, is if you notice there's no door edge cards. The commemorative edition cars did not come with door edge cards. Don't ask me why, I don't know. It's kind of, it's a little weird that they wouldn't have it, but that shows that this is an untouched commemorative edition car. Also, the commemorative edition cars had these beautiful badges on the rear sail panels that tell everybody it's a commemorative edition, as well as the beautiful two-tone pinstripes. Now these cars came in, you can either get it in this beautiful Cadillac white, or you could get it in Commodore blue. I've actually had two Commodore blue 85 Seville commemorative editions, which you don't see many of the Commodore blue Sevilles in general. And even the Eldorados, you don't see many of these in general anymore. And they didn't make a ton of them. You can see how nice the gold is right there. You can see how nice the chrome trim is on this car. This car's gorgeous, and I can nitpick this car because I'm just way too picky. But this is a beautiful, beautiful original example. Another cool thing is it has the gold taillights in the back here. My 2 cents on the lights was that Cadillac had some 1979 Cadillac lights left over, and they wanted to use them up, so they made them a bit special and put them on the Commemorative Edition. So that's my 2 cents on the taillights. But that's how you can tell it's a true commemorative. It could still be a true commemorative car that you're looking at, but somebody might have changed the taillights to the traditional taillight, which had the Cadillac insignia embossed with the chrome in the colors. So very cool back there as well. Look at the bumper fillers. They're in gorgeous condition. They might have a little discoloration, but they're gorgeous. This one has, now another cool feature is that the Eldorado, they had like it had gold, but it also had like, it was like an anodized gold package that they put on it, and also they put the chrome back there as well. You can see it right there. So that's factory. That's how the cars came. Very cool. Very, very cool. And the Eldorado emblem there as well. Very, very cool. Look at the lines on this car. Now all the Eldorados commemorative editions and the Sevilles all came from the factory with the steel metal roof. They did not have a Landau roof. They did not have a coach top or roadster roof, which we call it in New England. That was not standard. When these cars left the factory, this is exactly how they left the factory. I love the metal roofs on the cars. I think they're very unique. I actually have a two-tone silver 85 Eldorado in my collection. That's a metal roof car. One of these days I will get that car into video. I've had that car since 1997. As you can see, no door edge guards there either. It's got the nice gold caps. I am very lucky to have a few extra sets of those gold caps around. You can see the beautiful pinstripe. And that is all factory pinstripe on the car. Gorgeous. It's got the original body side molding, which you cannot find any place. So if you're painting one of these cars, you're sending it out, tell your body guy to save that molding, because you will not find it. Power antenna is working perfectly in this car. And another thing that a lot of these cars are actually missing these days, and it's kind of crazy because it's kind of like not a piece that I saved on these. It's this little stainless piece right here that runs across. A lot of cars are missing that, and they're missing that little miniature end cap right there as well. Beautiful car. Now the hood on them, it's just beyond super duper cool. It is the anodized gold with the chrome base. Tell me that is not absolutely awesome. And the lights and the chrome. This car's just a gorgeous, original, preserved automobile. And another thing that I like about this car, and I'm going to open up the door and show you guys the gorgeous interior in a second, is I love that this car has a lot of the nice options. Let me open up the door, show you guys this interior. I want to also show you guys a brochure I got from a friend of mine. And I think I got it in the trunk right here. We'll grab it out of the trunk. Show you guys this brochure. I actually got this in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I think I showed you guys in my Hershey video this brochure, but it's pretty cool to show up with the car today. See, my trunk's a little bit of a mess. I did change the spark plug wires. Those are the originals still there. I gotta pull this down and put the cover back on it. And here's my little jumper pack, because I'm not certain that this battery is gonna crank the car over. Well, I'm actually gonna replace it with a Delco gold battery come spring. It does have the original mat there as well. So this particular book, I was really lucky to get it. A friend of mine found it in Hershey. We worked out a trade. He knew I was very passionate about commemorative cars. And let me show you guys this little, I just gotta be careful here. This book's got a couple of tears in it. That makes it a little tough to open up at first. But this was an article that I never saw before. And there it is. A tribute to the Eldorado and Seville. So they got the Eldorado in the white with the factory wire wheels. And not the Eldorado, the Seville in white with the factory wire wheels. and the Eldorado in the Commodore blue with the factory wire wheels. So very, very cool article. I was really, really lucky to get that. I'm really excited about that. That will probably stay with this car. So everything's working on this car. Make sure I have the keys in my pocket before I forget them. So pull down. Oh, let me show you guys a little cool feature that this car has, because you don't see it that often. This car actually has the lock-in fuel door. So if you look right here, it even has a sticker still right there, remote lock-in fuel door. When you lock the doors, it locks. And it locks right there. So very cool. Very, very cool. Shut the trunk. And the pull down works absolutely perfectly. A lot of times these pull downs don't work because of the switch. It's usually not the motor, it's usually the switch. And this car actually still has, and let me show you guys the keychain here. I want to scratch my paint here, but I'm going to show you guys. It still has the Rickenbacker Cadillac dealer keychain, as well as the gold keys. And I actually have an extra set of gold keys back at my business. So beautiful car. Now let me show you guys the interior. The interior is just absolutely amazing. Dash pad is perfect with no cracks. Gorgeous car. Has 44,010 miles as of today. And this is a pretty loaded up car. This is a Delco Bose car, which the Delco Bose actually came out back in 1983. It was the first year that Cadillac had it. And back then, the Delco Bose sound systems were a very big deal. They were probably one of the best sound systems at the time, even though they were, even back then, they were a bit quirky. This one does have the Touring suspension as well. It does have some records in the glove box. And look at this, look at the horn pad. It's got the commemorative emblem, and this one's in gorgeous condition. I don't know if you can see, there's no scratches on this one at all. Absolutely gorgeous. And even the door panel, look at the door panel. Perfect door panel. You never see that. Delco Bose speakers in both front doors. They came with standard. Cool thing about this particular car, this is a memory seat car and a power mirror car as well. So all that stuff is options. And it also has the auto dimming and Twilight Sentinel, which is another option as well. This car's missing a few options. It's missing the automatic door locks. It's missing the electronic rear view mirror. And it's missing, it's weird, it's missing the factory security system and a factory mover. So it's missing a few options. Oh, one last option it's missing is the power recliner on the driver's side. So it's a really well equipped, I actually call it a loaded up Eldorado, but it is missing a few options. Most people that are selling these cars or these cars will consider this car to be loaded up with all the options. But somebody that's been obsessed with these cars for a gazillion years like myself, I know all the little missing options. Look at the interior on this car, guys. Absolutely gorgeous interior on this car. This is probably gonna be one of the nicest commemorative interiors out there. Even the seat belts are in beautiful condition. Absolutely stunning automobile. The back seat's just as nice. And it's got the rear seal panels with the blue, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. And I could go on for days about this car. I can see how nice the door panel is. Bottom is, doors are not rusted. All the weather stripping. It's even got one of the Cadillac dealers, Carlson Cadillac. If anybody knows where they're out of, or if they are still even in business, this is one of their stickers that's on the door of the car when I bought it. And it will stay there. And this car was produced in, actually I was wrong, I said spring. This car was produced, it looks like it was produced in 8 of 85. So basically the end of the line. Watch how nice that door shuts. Oh, and before I forget to mention it, this is a illuminated entry car as well. What does that mean? When you walk up to it at night, before you put your key in, you push the button to open the door here, and it lights up all the interior, so it's easier to see and everything and to get into the car. And it also lights up this little keyhole right there, so you can put the key in easily without scratching the paint. So another cool little feature right there. As you guys can see, the interior is gorgeous in this car. Look how beautiful that interior is, a two-tone. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning automobile. You guys might have caught it earlier, the visors are not in the car. The gentleman I bought it from took them out. He said they were coming down quickly. I do have a really good set that will be going into the car. So if you guys did catch that, that's the reason they're out. He said they fell down with the sun and they drove him crazy. So I have a really good set that will be going in this car soon, probably in the spring. As you can see, this door panel is just as perfect. You never see door panels this nice. And the thing about these door panels, people make fun of me all the time. They give me a hard time. Even friends and stuff, they'll get in the car. I'll be driving one of my Eldorados. Like, guys, don't put your arms on the door panels. But what I shouldn't move in this car. I'm like, yes, exactly. These door panels, they're beautiful, but they're fragile, especially being almost 40 years old. So if you put an elbow into it, especially on a cold day or a chilly day, you will crack it open. And you might be able to find those cover lay things on eBay and stuff and glue it on, however it goes on, but it's never going to look correct. So best thing to do, if you have a nice 1980s Eldorado, don't lean your elbow on the door panel because you will crack it. And another little funny story that I'll tell you guys, and you probably get a kick out of it, and I'll probably get a lot of comments about it, is that I use Armorall on my interiors. I've been using Armorall on my interiors in my Cadillac since I was a kid. And I have one particular car, an 84 Cadillac Eldorado convertible I've owned since 2001. And I had a friend of mine a while back, he goes, this interior is gorgeous. He goes, probably one of the nicest interiors I've seen in one of these. And I go, yeah, I've been using Armorall on it since day one. He goes, that's crazy, everybody complains about Armorall. I love Armorall on these leather interiors. It just really seems to preserve them. It really keeps up the dash pads. I mean, if you wipe it in nicely, you get that satin finish. I like a little bit of brightness because it works on these 80s cars. But as you can see, it's not too much either. So my 2 cents is I love using Armorall on these interiors. You know, people will say all these other leather products. I forget the really good one there. I can't remember the name of it. And everybody swears by them. I like Armorall. I've been using it since I was a kid. And it's kept my interiors gorgeous, and I'll continue using it. So that's my 2 cents on Armorall anyways. But it looks like the clouds are slowly but surely coming in, guys. It's gonna start raining later on today. This one's going away, and I probably won't see the light of day until the new year, 2024. I would definitely make sure to get this one out and use it a bit. But just wanted to take a second to show you guys my beautiful 85 Eldorado Commemorative Edition. I figured this car definitely deserved the spotlight for what it is. They're super unique, awesome cars. If you find one, you're lucky to find one, especially a nice one. They're really tough to find. And I probably might do a video of my Commemorative Eldorado convertible. My Commemorative Eldorado convertible is far from perfect. It was a done over car in the past, and it probably needs to be done over again. But hopefully I will do a video of that car in the next year or so. Those cars are super rare. I would love a nice original one. Mine is not a nice original car. It's a done over car, but it's also probably one of less than 100 ever produced. So again, guys, I really appreciate you watching my videos. I hope you enjoyed this video of this beautiful Eldorado Commemorative Edition. I'm going to wrap this one up, get this one back in the warehouse. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching.